Hello, everybody. This is Rick Manning, President of Americans for Limited Government. It's Christmas season. The decorations are hung or need to be. Gifts are being purchased. Advent's being celebrated. Parties are being thrown, and Americans wind down from a long, stressful year. Unfortunately, while most Americans refocus, the rest of the world doesn't stop. But in many cases, looks at this time as an opportunity to exploit. While you're spending time with your families, the establishment of Washington, D.C. and Congress and the White House have visions of sugar plums dancing through their heads as a lame duck session of Congress is meeting and seeking to make major changes in our nation's laws, using the post-election lull to try to advance radical ideas with the votes of senators who won't be coming back in January. The proposed omnibus spending bill that is being pushed has millions of taxpayer funds going to groups celebrating the homosexual lifestyle and the transgender agenda. It almost makes one long for the innocent days of earmarks for Harry Reid's favorite cowboy museum. The Republican establishment cheers Herschel Walker's loss in Georgia, which they facilitated by blaming former President Donald Trump, and express hope that all those nasty flag-waving people who support him will go away and leave them alone. In the sports world, the Biden administration makes the world less safe by trading a convicted Russian arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death to Moscow in exchange for a woman basketball player who knowingly entered Russia with drugs. On the international front, Chinese government police stations have been discovered in both New York City and Los Angeles. Their mission: keep people of Chinese origin who are citizens of the United States or are legally residing here under the long arm of Beijing's control through intimidation, kidnapping, and arrest. I guess when the United States government decides as a policy that our borders don't matter, what else could you expect? Speaking of China, fentanyl, China's most deadly export, continues to kill record numbers of Americans as it's being laced into other drugs in an attempt to murder as many as possible. The CDC reports that more than 150 people die each day due to fentanyl poisoning. Tragically, more than 100,000 families will be sitting down to Christmas dinner this year, mourning loved ones who have died due to opioid overdoses, including the fentanyl chemical attack. On the presidential election fraud front, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell promises to fix election fraud by passing legislation during the lame duck session, which will take away state legislatures' constitutional role in determining the validity of their state elections. Only in D.C. could institutionalizing and denying recourse against fraud be considered reform. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the new criminal first legal system has resulted in 20% of the homicides being committed by people who have been released on bail. Who would have thought that releasing criminals on the streets in a turnstile justice system would result in more crime and murder? Who'd have thunk it? The Biden administration, under something called climate reparations, plans on giving $10 billion to third world governments who opt to subject their people to energy poverty rather than to develop a stable electricity generation system to build their economies, all in the name of supporting the United Nations climate change grift. The Iranian government faces a citizen revolution to overturn its murderous decades long and over long imposed Sharia law, while the Biden administration still is propping up the mullahs who run Iran by providing them cash flow and promising even more money in exchange for their word that they won't make a nuclear bomb quite so fast. Europe continues to suffer under self-inflicted energy shortages due to their political decision to become reliant upon Russian natural gas and supplementing it by wind and solar energy sources. And the Biden administration is moving heaven and earth to follow in their footsteps here in America. And finally, in my home state of California, we are considering a proposal to pay Black residents $223,000 each for reparations. So a state that never had slaves is proposing to give almost $250,000 to people who never were slaves, simply due to their ethnicity. Let the 2023 California gold rush begin. Yes, it's Christmas season, but unfortunately, stupidity and evil don't stop in the season of joy, because those intent on doing harm know that the best time to act is when the watchdog is asleep. This is Rick Manning, Americans for Limited Government.